idea what to charge. If you have 0 followers or 100 followers, funny I say this because here I am. Oh, quite literally, it changed my life. UGC creators and influencers are not the same. Hey everyone, and welcome to my channel. This is literally my first ever YouTube video. For those that don't know me, I'm Lamia. I'm a full-time UGC creator based in Dubai. This is definitely outside of my comfort zone, but decided to make this channel because when I first started UGC, I realized that there wasn't a lot of information about UGC in general on YouTube, but especially in the UAE. So I wanted to create a safe space for everything UGC on YouTube. There is a lot on TikTok, Instagram, but there's only so much you can put in a video. They're basically short form content platforms, which means not only is the video really super short, 1 minute, 2 minutes, I mean, you can find longer on TikTok, but because people's attention span is really low, that means that you really need to make the content as engaging as possible, and you need to think of sounds and the fonts and transitions, and just to keep the audience as engaged as possible. I find that with YouTube, it's a place where you can actually talk through things a little bit slower, deeper, and can really show the true behind the scenes of what it is being a UGC creator. So I really wanted to create that space for all of you here on YouTube, just your digital cozy space for everything UGC. If you're just starting out with UGC or curious about UGC, you've heard it before but not quite sure what it is, or you're a creator who's doing this full time and you just want to follow along, you're in the right place. Welcome and make yourself comfortable. Today I thought the best way to start is by just explaining to you and introducing to you what UGC is and how quite literally it changed my life. I'm gonna answer some of the most common questions I get asked about UGC. Some of these came directly from you, but others I'm gonna add on because I know you might ask these questions later on. Okay, so what is UGC? UGC stands for User Generated Content, and UGC basically means content that is created from normal people like you and me for brands. Don't need anything fancy, you literally just need your phone and your creativity. And what is the difference between UGC creators and influencers? So there's a lot of confusion between both, and I wanna say UGC creators and influencers are not the same. And a lot of UGC creators get this quite a lot from probably family and friends, where no matter how many times you explain to them the difference, they still are like, oh, okay, so an influencer. So the main difference between UGC creators and influencers is that influencers will post their content on their page, whereas UGC creators will create the content and will send it to the brand, and the brand will then post it on their social media account. That means that because you don't have to post it on your social media, you don't need a following. If you have 0 followers or 100 followers, it doesn't matter because that content will not be uploaded on your account. Whereas influencers, whether that's a nano, micro, whatever sort of influencer, they do need some sort of following to be able to work with brands and post on their channel. So how did I get into UGC? About 3 years ago, I was doing my 9-to-5 job. I was not happy. I was looking for something different, and I wanted to kind of get into the social media world. When I first started hearing about UGC, it wasn't straight away, so I did start doing other things, like trying to sell products on Etsy. I also created TikTok. I was like, oh, let me be a TikToker. I just share my life in Dubai, but that didn't really work out. And take into account, people say that I don't look it, but I am a very shy person. I don't like being on camera. Funny I say this because here I am. And I wasn't the type of person that would post on social media a lot. Like even my personal Instagram, I wouldn't really post much. I wouldn't be active. But for some reason, I did want to dive into this world and experience something different, because I knew that it's a lot of opportunities. I really needed that flexibility, that freedom. I was not happy in my previous job. I received verbal abuse in my previous job. I was super scared going to work, and take into account this was 100% remote, so I didn't even have to physically see that person, but it was still so hard. Imagine even going and opening my laptop, turning on my laptop, I was literally having panic attacks nearly every day. Just needed a change. I realized that the corporate world wasn't for me, and that's when I started seeing a lot of things about UGC. And at that time I was back home. I had a lot of spare time. I did a lot of research. It wasn't very clear to me at the start. When I kind of like got the hang of it, all I wanted to do was to come back to Dubai and just start creating content. I was so excited. Actually quite crazy, because once I practiced, created my portfolio, and really like officially started my UGC journey, I landed my first collab a week into starting, which is kind of crazy. After that, I don't know when I landed my second collaboration, paid collaboration. I think it was a couple of weeks later. But yeah, the first one was the first week, and I was like, okay, like this isn't that hard. But yeah, it was. How did I navigate UGC in the UAE? Now, this is a really good question. UGC, when I first started in the UAE, felt really unstructured. There was no established UAE UGC creator that I can go to. So basically I had to navigate it by experimenting a lot, studying what brands were responding to, and learning how to pitch myself confidently. I also remember that I had no idea what to charge. It was pretty difficult, but because I was so determined to succeeding in UGC, I put in a lot of work. And I also saw it as an opportunity because UGC wasn't established, and I don't feel it's like really established in the UAE as much. I still think it's very early stages, but like 3 years ago it was very early. But I really saw that as a chance because UGC isn't and wasn't saturated at that time. It still isn't. So it's such an ideal time to position yourself as the go-to UGC creator in the UAE. Because imagine in 5 years time, you would have had 5 years experience. In 5 years time, when UGC is like up there, here, you're gonna be positioned as the expert in this field. Right now, I feel it's much easier than 3 years ago. How to start UGC in the UAE. Do your research. It's a lot more than just creating content for brands. Also building your own personal brand, which takes a lot of time and energy and effort. Follow established UAE UGC creators. There is a lot of information, and there is a lot of UGC creators based outside of the UAE, like America, Europe, Australia, that share really valuable advice. But I found that a lot of it didn't help me here in the UAE. Really practice creating content, because you might find that, you know, creating content for brands is amazing, but it might not be for you. And when I first started, I actually thought that it wasn't for me because I didn't feel comfortable talking to the camera. But that is also a way for you to grow. Anything that's like outside of your comfort zone is potential for you to grow and actually find things that you didn't know you liked. I actually did not know I had this creative side. I wasn't a creative person. Do give it a go. Be persistent. If this is what you really want, this is what I really wanted. So I was very persistent and consistent, and put a lot of dedication into UGC, and it paid off. If you're new, you can still do it. As I started with zero experience, I didn't even know how to edit. I didn't know how to film content. I didn't know how to speak to the camera also. Like, I still feel like I don't. As I said, this is literally outside of my comfort zone, but I want to try something different. How much to charge in the UAE? This will depend on the deliverables. If you are receiving inbounds from brands asking you to share your rates, well, that really will depend how they're going to use the content, how many videos. All of this information you need to get to be able to be like, okay, the rate for this is going to be this. You need to understand the complexity of the project. You're not going to be charging the same if you need to create a video from your home than drive, I don't know how long, to this place. You need to create content in like 5 different locations. That is literally going to cost more. It's going to take more time, more effort. So obviously, depending on the complexity of the project, you will be able to charge them whatever it is. If the brand is going to post the content organically, so just on the feed, you're going to be charging them one rate. And if they're going to be using it as ads, you're going to be charging them another rate. So this is what you should be charging as a UGC creator that is just starting out in the UAE for one organic video. That's 550 dirhams minimum. I would not go any lower than that. And I'm telling you from experience, that's the minimum brand should be paying you for one video. Then if you're more advanced, 1,200 dirhams is the minimum they should be charging you. And again, I'm telling you this from experience, you should not be charging any lower than 1,200 dirhams per video for one video. I'm only speaking to you for one video. Obviously, if there's any like bundles or if it's a retainer, you can give an extra 10% discount or 20% discount, whatever it is. But take into account how much effort you're putting into this and if whatever you're charging them is actually worth it. If you think it's not, then rethink your rates. My phone just ran out of battery. Classic. Okay, next question is UAE UGC trends you've noticed when negotiating with brands. So there's been a couple. Brands expect to use the content that they've paid for as ads, even though they haven't shared that with you. They will just basically ask for your rates, and when you ask them for how many months of ad usage rights they want, they're like, well, I'm paying for the video so I can use it for whatever I want. It's like this misconception with brands here in the UAE. I've noticed that they think that because they're just paying for the video, they can do whatever it is that they want. Next question, how did I learn to edit? So I first started learning how to edit when I started UGC. So obviously when you create content, you need to edit it. You need to do everything yourself so that when you send it to the brand, all they have to do is just post it on their social media accounts. So yes, it's not only about filming, it's also about editing. And I think you guys know that I love editing. I show that on my Instagram quite a lot, and I do share a lot of tips and tutorials, and because I actually quite enjoy it. So when I first started was literally when I started UGC. I watched a lot of videos. I was really interested. I really liked it, and I feel that's when my creativity shined the most. Yes, I'm creative with filming content and how I film it. The creativity for editing is higher. I really enjoy editing, and I just learned on my own. I got to this point after 3 years. So before that, I didn't know how to edit. I might have edited something, but just putting loads of videos together and that's it. Yeah, and definitely don't compare my journey, like where I am right now, like my day, whatever it is, like 1,000 to your day one. When I started, my day one is nowhere near my day, whatever, like day 300, you know? So definitely do not compare yourself. And because everyone's journey is different, also, it might have taken me longer to learn something, and then for you, it'll take you less. Definitely do not compare yourself. And the last question, what are the top 3 advices I would give someone starting out in the UAE? So I'm not going to go for the general advice, which is like practice and be consistent. I'm going to really focus this on UAE. With UAE, I find when you first start, you think that you would need to pitch to local brands. My advice is to also pitch to international brands. They also work with international creators. A UK brand isn't only going to work with UK creators. They also work with international creators. Definitely make sure that you pitch to international brands, and you're going to be pitching a lot when you first start. When I first started, I was pitching a lot. I still pitch now, but not as much as when I first started. My second tip is to leverage your skills, particularly the languages that you speak. So I'm pretty sure if you live in the UAE, you speak more than one language. So definitely leverage that. Make sure that the brand knows that. So make sure that it's visible in your bio or in your portfolio, or when you're pitching or when you're communicating with brands, make sure that that is highlighted. That's going to make you stand out from other creators. And a lot of brands look for people that speak more than one language, whether that's Italian, Spanish, French, whatever it is, especially Arabic here in the UAE. But international brands are also looking for people that might speak their own language. So definitely do that. Think of it as like your CV. So with your CV, you're going to be highlighting everything that you're good at, things that you're skilled in. So make sure that you do that also with UGC. And then my last tip is to focus on quality over quantity. Now, it is true that the UAE is not a saturated market in terms of UGC. So UGC is not saturated at all here. So there is a lot of possibility for you to grow as a UGC creator. But in order to get the best deals, you need to produce the best quality and the best sort of content. You can't just focus on just creating content quickly, just to post it on your portfolio. That is something I did at the start. I just wanted to post as much content to show them that, you know, I can create content. And it's not until I focused on quality that I started receiving the best sort of quality quality inbounds and quality collaborations. So definitely focus on quantity over quality. And that's it. This is the end of this Q&A. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was useful as well. That is my objective with this channel in general, for it to be as helpful and valuable as possible, that we really deep dive into these sorts of topics, because it's hard to transmit a message on short form content like Instagram. Hopefully that was helpful for you, and if you're interested in UGC or anything like that, then maybe that's cleared some of the doubts and questions that you've had. But if you have more questions, do let me know. You can just pop them in the comment section down below. But yeah, I just hope this was fun. I can't believe I've literally just filmed my first YouTube video, and I can't wait for more.